I found out my husband was cheating because of a sandwich. Not a lipstick stain. Not a hotel receipt. Not a text popping up at midnight. A sandwich. A blurry photo of a half-eaten turkey club on a white plate, beside 2 glasses of wine and a woman's hand wearing a bracelet I had never seen before. And the worst part? That photo appeared on our digital picture frame while my mother was sitting right next to me. My name is Claire. I'm 34. My husband, Daniel, is 36. We had been married for 7 years, together for 10. No kids yet, though we had been saying we would start trying soon for almost 3 years. At first, I thought we were waiting for the right time. Later, I realized Daniel's version of soon was just a place he could keep moving farther away. Daniel worked in commercial real estate. His job came with late nights, client dinners, weekend calls, emergency meetings, and excuses that always sounded just professional enough to be believable. I worked from home as a freelance editor, which meant I became the default person for everything else. Groceries. Bills. Laundry. Vet appointments. Family plans. Birthday gifts. Remembering his mother's birthday. Remembering when our car registration expired. I didn't call it unfair back then. I called it marriage. Daniel was charming. That was what everyone noticed first. He could make strangers feel like they had known him for years. Waiters loved him. My parents loved him. My friends loved him. One of my friends once joked, "If you and Daniel ever divorce, I'm keeping him." I laughed then. I don't laugh now. The digital photo frame was a Christmas gift from Daniel's sister. It sat on the bookshelf in our living room and cycled through photos from a shared cloud album. Vacations. Holidays. Our dog Milo. Family dinners. Blurry selfies. Food pictures. Random screenshots we forgot to delete. It was harmless. Until it wasn't. The first signs came months before the sandwich, but they were small enough that I kept explaining them away. Daniel started guarding his phone. Not dramatically. He didn't suddenly change his password or run into another room every time it buzzed. It was quieter than that. He placed it face down. He angled the screen away when he texted. If I walked behind him, he locked it. When you've shared a bed with someone for 10 years, you notice when their behavior changes by 2 inches. One night, while we were making dinner, I asked, "Everything okay with work? You've been on your phone a lot." He didn't look up. "Yeah. Just busy." "New client?" "Kind of." "What kind?" He smiled. "Babe, please don't make me explain commercial zoning while I'm cutting onions." Classic Daniel. Make a joke. Make me smile. Avoid the question. So I smiled. A few weeks later, he started going to the gym at night. Daniel had never been a gym person. He owned running shoes, but they mostly sat by the front door like decoration. Then suddenly he joined a 24-hour gym and started going after dinner. "Why at night?" I asked. "Less crowded." "You hate working out." "I'm 36. I can't keep acting like my metabolism is 25. That sounded reasonable. Then came the new shirts. The better haircut. The whitening strips in the bathroom drawer. The cologne he hadn't worn since our honeymoon. I told myself it was a health kick. I told myself people were allowed to improve themselves. I told myself a lot of things. There was also a woman named Vanessa. Vanessa worked at Daniel's office. She was a leasing coordinator, maybe 29 or 30. I had met her twice at company events. She was pretty in an effortless way. Dark hair. Bright smile. The kind of woman who laughed with her whole body. She always laughed at Daniel's jokes a little too hard. But I didn't suspect her at first. Daniel mentioned her casually. Vanessa saved me with those contract revisions. Vanessa found a restaurant for the client dinner. Vanessa said I used the printer like a divorced dad. Then, suddenly, he stopped mentioning her completely. That was when I started thinking about her more. One Friday night in March, Daniel came home already dressed in a nice shirt. I was in leggings, making pasta sauce, thinking we were going to eat dinner and watch a movie. He kissed my cheek and said, "I have a client dinner downtown." Sorry. Last minute thing. I turned off the stove. Tonight? Yeah. I know. It's annoying. Who's going? People from the office. The client. Usual thing. Vanessa. He paused. It was tiny. Maybe half a second. But I saw it. Probably, he said. I don't know. That pause stayed with me. He rubbed my shoulders and said, "Don't wait up, okay? It'll probably run late." I nodded because I didn't want to be difficult. But I did wait up. Not on purpose. I sat on the couch with Milo, watching a show I couldn't follow. Every few minutes, I checked the time and hated myself for it. At 11:47 p.m., Daniel texted. Still stuck here. Client won't stop talking. At 12:36 a.m. Heading home soon. He came in after 1 a.m., smelling like wine, cold air, and something floral I didn't recognize. Not strong. Just enough. I was still on the couch. He startled when he saw me. Jesus, Claire. You scared me. Sorry. He took off his jacket. You didn't have to stay up. Couldn't sleep. He nodded but avoided my eyes. Long night? I asked. Exhausting. Who all went? He sighed. Can we do this tomorrow? Do what? The interrogation. That word hit me hard. Interrogation. I wasn't interrogating him. I was asking my husband about his night. But shame came immediately. Maybe I was being insecure. Maybe I was becoming suspicious. Maybe I was turning nothing into something. So I said, never mind. He kissed the top of my head and went upstairs to shower. I lay awake for 2 hours listening to the water run. In April, my mother came to stay with us for the weekend. She lives 4 hours away and had an appointment in our city, so she used our guest room. My mother can sense tension in a house before she even takes off her coat. She didn't say anything at first. But Saturday morning, while Daniel was at the gym, she watched me refill my coffee and asked, "Are you two okay?" I almost lied. Instead, I said, "I think so." She gave me the look mothers give when they already know. You think so? He's just been busy. She stirred her tea and said, busy is not the same as absent. That sentence stayed in my head all day. Daniel came home around noon and acted like the perfect son-in-law. He fixed a loose cabinet handle my mother mentioned. He asked about her appointment. He picked up dinner from her favorite Thai place. By Sunday afternoon, I felt stupid for worrying. Then the digital frame changed everything. We were in the living room after lunch. My mother was on the couch. I was folding towels. Daniel was outside taking a call. The digital frame on the shelf cycled through old pictures. Milo wearing a birthday hat. Daniel and me at my cousin's wedding. A beach trip. A blurry picture of pancakes. Then the sandwich appeared. At first, my brain didn't understand what I was seeing. A restaurant table. A half-eaten turkey club. 2 glasses of wine. Daniel's hand on the edge of the plate. And across from him, a woman's hand with red nails and a thin gold bracelet. My mother said quietly, "Claire." Then the photo changed to Milo sleeping on his back. I stood frozen with a towel in my hands. My mother didn't ask what it was. She didn't need to. I opened the shared album on my phone and found the picture. Date: Friday, March 22nd. Time: 11:18 p.m. The night of the client dinner. The night Daniel had texted me at 11:47 saying the client wouldn't stop talking. I zoomed in. In the reflection of one wine glass, I could see part of a woman's face. Dark hair. Big smile. Leaning toward whoever took the photo. Vanessa. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up. My mother stood. "Do you want me to stay?" I nodded. I couldn't speak. Daniel came back inside 10 minutes later, still holding his phone. He looked relaxed. Almost cheerful. Then he saw my face. "What happened?" I held up my phone. "Who is this?" He stepped closer, looked at the screen, and went completely still. Not confused. Not surprised. Still. Like someone had unplugged him. "What is that?" he asked. "A picture from your phone." "Okay." Taken at 11:18 p.m. On March 22nd. He looked at my mother, then back at me. "Claire, can we not do this in front of your mom?" My mother picked up her purse. "I'll be in the guest room." Before she left, she gave Daniel a look I had never seen before. When the door closed, I asked again. "Who is she?" Daniel exhaled like I was being unreasonable. "It was a work dinner." "Then why did you tell me the client was still talking at 11:47 when you were sitting across from Vanessa at 11:18? His jaw tightened. "Vanessa was at the dinner." "Was anyone else?" "Yes." "Who?" He looked away. "People." "Names." "Claire." "Names, Daniel." "I don't remember everyone." That was when I knew. Daniel remembered everything when it helped him. He could recall a parking receipt from 6 months ago if he wanted to win an argument. He remembered lease terms, client birthdays, wine orders, square footage. But suddenly he couldn't remember who sat at dinner with him. I said, "You're lying." He snapped, "I'm not lying." "You are." "It was just dinner." "Just dinner with the woman you suddenly stopped mentioning?" His face changed. That is the only way I can describe it. The charming husband disappeared, and someone colder took his place. "So this is what we're doing," he said. "What are we doing?" "You're building a conspiracy because of a picture of food. A picture you didn't know I would see." He laughed once. Sharp. Ugly. "This is insane." There it was. The word people use when the truth gets too close. Insane. I felt myself shaking, but my voice stayed calm. "Unlock your phone." He stared at me. "No." "Then we're done." His face shifted. Panic, just for a second. "Claire, don't be dramatic." "Unlock it. It's my privacy. And this is my marriage." He didn't unlock it. He put his phone in his pocket. I walked upstairs. He followed me, saying my name over and over. I went into our bedroom, pulled a duffel bag from the closet, and started packing his clothes. "What are you doing?" he asked. "You can sleep somewhere else tonight." "You're kicking me out over a sandwich photo?" I stopped and looked at him. "No. I'm kicking you out because you're lying to my face. This is ridiculous." "Then show me your phone and make me feel ridiculous." Silence. That silence was louder than any confession. He left that night and said he was staying with his brother. I didn't believe him. My mother stayed with me. She made tea, sat beside me on the couch, and let me cry into Milo's fur until I couldn't breathe properly. At 2:07 a.m., my phone buzzed. Daniel. You're blowing this out of proportion. Then. We need to talk when you calm down. Then. Nothing happened. Then, at 2:41 a.m. I made a mistake, but it's not what you think. I stared at that last message for a long time. A mistake. Funny how the truth starts leaking once denial stops working. The next morning, I checked our shared phone account. I had never done that before. It always felt invasive. Now I didn't care. Vanessa's number was everywhere. Hundreds of texts. Calls during his gym hours. Calls after midnight. Calls on mornings when he left early for meetings. There was one call that lasted 48 minutes on our anniversary. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at that number, and something inside me went quiet. Not calm. Quiet. Like a fire had burned through everything and left ash. Daniel came home around noon. My mother's car was still in the driveway. He looked irritated when he saw it, as if she was the problem. He asked if we could talk privately. I said, no. He looked at my mother. With all due respect, this is between me and my wife. My mother said, then you should have kept it between you and your wife. He had no answer. We sat at the kitchen table. I placed the phone records between us. His face went pale. I said, tell me the truth once. He swallowed. It wasn't physical at first. I closed my eyes. There it was. The sentence that means it became physical later. How long? He didn't answer. How long, Daniel? Since January. January. 4 months. 4 months of late nights. 4 months of me asking what was wrong. 4 months of him kissing me goodbye while planning when he would see her again. I asked, did you sleep with her? He looked down. Yes. My mother made a small sound behind me, like she had been hit. I didn't cry. Not then. Where? I asked. He whispered, hotels mostly. Mostly. That word almost made me laugh. As if there was a normal number of places to betray your wife. And the gym? He nodded. Sometimes I wasn't there. Client dinners. Another nod. Work trips. Yes. I pushed the phone records toward him. And our anniversary? He looked confused. What? You called her for 48 minutes on our anniversary. His face crumpled. I don't remember. I do. You told me you were tired and went to bed early. He covered his face with both hands. I'm sorry. I expected those words to matter. They didn't. They landed on the table like empty coins. Do you love her? I asked. No, he said immediately. Too fast. So I asked again. Do you love her? He started crying. I don't know. That hurt more than yes. At least yes would have been clean. Daniel said he felt trapped. He said our life had become routine. He said Vanessa made him feel wanted and interesting. He said he never meant for it to go this far. I asked, how far did you mean for it to go? He just cried. I said, you had 4 months to stop. I know. You watched me blame myself. I know. You let me feel crazy. I know. You brought her into my house through that photo frame. He looked up quickly. That was an accident. No. The upload was an accident. The affair was a choice. For once, he didn't argue. He asked if I wanted marriage counseling. I said yes. He looked relieved. Then I said, foreclosure. The relief vanished. Claire, please. I stood up. I want you out of the house. Can we not make any big decisions right now? I looked at him and realized he still thought the decision was mine. But he had made the big decision months ago. I was just reacting to it. He moved in with his brother. I called a lawyer 2 days later. The strangest part of betrayal is that life continues asking you to do normal things. I still had deadlines. The dog still needed walks. The dishwasher still leaked. My dentist appointment still sent reminders. Meanwhile, my marriage had collapsed because of a photo of lunch. Daniel sent long messages every night. He said he was broken. He said he hated himself. He said Vanessa meant nothing. He said he loved me more than anything. He said he would spend the rest of his life making it up to me. I didn't answer most of them. Then Vanessa emailed me. Yes. Emailed. The subject line was, "I think you deserve to know." I almost deleted it. But I opened it. She wrote that Daniel had told her our marriage was basically over. That we slept in separate rooms. That I didn't want children. That I was cold and controlling. That he was only staying because he felt guilty. None of that was true. We shared a bed every night. I wanted children so badly I had cried after every negative test. I had begged Daniel to talk about our future, and he always said we had time. Vanessa wrote that she was sorry, but then added, "I know what we did was wrong, but he pursued me. He pursued me." Maybe she thought that would make me hate him more and her less. It didn't. There was enough disgust for both of them. I forwarded the email to my lawyer. 2 weeks later, Daniel showed up at the house without warning. He looked terrible. Unshaven. Red-eyed. Thinner. He stood on the porch holding flowers, which felt so insulting I almost shut the door immediately. "Please," he said. 5 minutes. I stepped outside because I didn't want him in the house. He told me he had quit his job. He told me he had blocked Vanessa. He told me he had started therapy. He said he would give me access to everything. Phone. Email. Location. Bank accounts. "I'll do anything," he said. I asked, "Why now?" He blinked. "What? Why are you willing to do anything now? Why not when I asked if we were okay? Why not when I was lying awake next to you? Why not before you slept with her?" He had no answer. So I gave him one. Because now there are consequences. He cried then. Real tears, I think. Maybe even real regret. But regret after exposure is complicated. I believe Daniel was sorry. I also believe he was more sorry that his life exploded than that he lit the match. The divorce took 7 months. During that time, I learned things I wish I didn't know. I learned he had taken Vanessa to a hotel the night after my birthday dinner. I learned he bought her earrings and told me the charge was for a client gift. I learned he complained to her about our fertility struggles while refusing to talk to me about them. That's the part people don't understand. Cheating doesn't just steal the future. It rewrites the past. Suddenly, every memory becomes evidence. Was he texting her during Thanksgiving? Was he thinking about her when he kissed me on New Year's? Was he already lying when we took that smiling picture at the lake? You don't just lose trust in them. You lose trust in your own memories. Some people think betrayal is one event. It isn't. It's 1,000 hidden events you discover all at once. The final time I saw Daniel as my husband was at the lawyer's office. He wore the navy suit I had picked out for him years ago. I hated that I noticed. After we signed the last papers, he asked if we could talk outside. We stood near the parking lot in awkward silence, like strangers after a bad first date. He said, "I still love you." I believed him. That was the awful part. I think he did love me, in whatever selfish way he understood love. He loved me as home. As comfort. As history. As the person who knew how he took his coffee and where he kept his passport. But he didn't love me enough to protect me. And that is the only kind of love that matters in a marriage. I said, "I loved you too." He flinched at the past tense. Then he asked, if that photo hadn't uploaded, would we still be together? I thought about lying. Instead, I said, "No. We would still be together in your version of the marriage. Not mine." He nodded slowly. "I'm sorry." "I know. But sorry doesn't rebuild a life. It just stands in the ruins and admits there was a fire." I moved 6 months later into a smaller apartment with big windows and terrible parking. Milo came with me. Daniel didn't fight me on that, maybe because he knew I would fight harder for the dog than the dining table. The digital photo frame is in a box in my closet. I can't throw it away. I can't plug it in either. Sometimes I think about that sandwich photo and how stupid it was. How small. How ordinary. A half-eaten turkey club. 2 glasses of wine. A bracelet. A timestamp. That was all it took to split my life into before and after. People imagine cheating being exposed in dramatic ways. A screaming confrontation. A phone left open. A private investigator. A guilty confession. But sometimes the truth arrives quietly. Sometimes it appears on a picture frame while your mother is sitting on your couch. Sometimes it isn't even a picture of them kissing. Sometimes it's just proof that they were somewhere they swore they weren't, with someone they told you not to worry about. It has been a year now. I'm not completely healed, but I'm better. I sleep through the night again. I laugh without feeling guilty. I stopped checking timestamps like clues in a murder case. Daniel still emails me sometimes. Usually on holidays. I don't respond. Vanessa moved to another company. I know because a friend told me, not because I looked. I don't need to know anymore. The strangest thing is that I don't hate Daniel every day. Some days, I miss him. Or maybe I missed the version of him I thought existed. The man who made pancakes on Sundays. The man who carried Milo home when he cut his paw. The man who held my hand during my father's surgery. That man feels real to me. But so does the man who lied for 4 months. I'm still learning that both can be true. Someone can love you and betray you. Someone can cry and still be selfish. Someone can be sorry and still not be safe. So if you're reading this because something feels off in your relationship, I won't tell you to blow up your life over a strange feeling. But I will say this. Don't let someone convince you that your instincts are insanity just because your questions are inconvenient. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't controlling. I wasn't insecure. I was married to a man who got careless with his lies. And in the end, his affair wasn't exposed by guilt, honesty, or remorse. It was exposed by our digital photo frame. And a picture of a sandwich he should have never been eating with her.